Hey everyone, this is Matt from the Sorry I've Been So Busy podcast. Something very special. Today we're re-releasing our very first episode with our good friend Mike Weber, who is a screenwriter, who along with his partner Scott Neustadter has written many movies that you've probably seen, including 500 Days of Summer, Fault in Our Stars. Mike has two movies that you should know about. One is Our Souls at Night, which I saw. It's on Netflix. It's really funny and charming and sweet movie starring Robert Redford and Jane Fonda that you can check out right now on Netflix. And then coming out in December, he's got The Disaster Artist, starring James Franco and directed by James Franco, which is based on the movie The Room, and that looks like a lot of fun too. So Mike's a good friend of ours. He was a great guest. In fact, this was just supposed to be a test episode, and we had so much fun, and it was such a great conversation that we ended up releasing it. So this is our very first episode of Sorry I've Been So Busy, and we're going to be back very soon, hopefully next week, or if not, then very soon with more new episodes. But in the meantime, enjoy our episode with Michael Weber, and stay busy, everybody.
Until I met my new best friend, all of my boys say I'm tripping. When they call, I'm not answering. They always get my voicemail 'cause I'm...
Okay, thank you. We're rolling. This is I'm Matt Goldich. I'm here with Andrew Goldstein. This is are you here?
Yeah,
we're here. This is our podcast. Is that right? Is that what they call this?
Apparently, it's like a new medium.
It's a new medium.
Not many people have them.
No, I've heard they're very new.
Very exclusive.
This is called Sorry I've Been So Busy. This is our podcast. That's the name of the show. And first of all, hello, Andrew. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
This is very entertaining so far.
Before we set up what the podcast is about, I was going to say only two people as neurotic as you and I would name our podcast after an apology.
Yes, that's true.
I'm sorry.
I know, right?
I'm sorry I've been so busy.
Just immediately, we want to give people the idea of
we're
what
apologizing right
off the bat, right when they go on the list of things to possible podcasts to download.
And by neurotic, I meant Jewy.
Yes, that's what there's a lot of diversity here in the hosting two neurotic Jews from suburban Philadelphia.
With gold in our last names.
Almost very similar last names. Yeah, that's what...
Does not get more Jewy.
No. We should, just briefly off the top, you and I have known each other for a very long time, been very good friends, followed similar career paths.
Yeah, so we were campers at the same Jewish overnight camp. We were counselors together in the same bunk.
Counselors in the same bunk.
We were co-counselors in the same bunk at the same camp.
I should say you were the senior counselor.
I was the senior counselor, and that was the junior counselor.
Yeah.
And then then we went to college. Nothing similar there. And then I moved to New York and became an NBC page, and then Matt moved to New York and became an NBC page, and we had pages together, and we were doing stand-up together and all that good stuff. And then we both got into comedy writing.
And TV and production and all that stuff. And we've worked at many of the same places with many of the same people.
Yeah.
I don't know that have you ever worked together?
The one time, the small interstitial game show on Spike.
Yeah, trivia questions for the game show.
Callie Steidehar was the host.
Wow. Deep cut. I remember that job because I was working on a show for VH1. It was in the Viacom building, and the show got canceled. And before the end of the day, I had already gotten a new job writing questions for your show, and I didn't even have to move my desk. Everybody else working on the show lost their jobs and left the building. And I just came in the next day and stayed at the same desk. It was really weird.
At that point, I used to just hope that you would get fired so I could pull you onto my stupid projects at Spike TV.
Yeah, that you got your wish. So we've been good friends for a long time. We have a good, solid, common area of interest, but also lots of friends, different friends. Disparate circles.
I just like that word.
Yeah, that's a good use of it. And so we thought we would do a podcast together and bring in some of our friends and people that we know and interesting people.
Get in on the ground floor of this podcasting craze.
Yeah. Next, we're going to try email.
Yeah.
So,
explain what the show is all about.
So it's called Sorry I've Been So Busy. The idea being everybody is busy or claims that they're very busy. Too busy to hang out, too busy to call back or write back or whatever it is. And we're going to get to the bottom of what people are actually busy with. So that could be anything from, sometimes people are really busy with actual big, exciting life or work things that actually are keeping them busy, and they're not lying. And other times we're going to find out that people have been just completely bullshitting us and have just been... They've been busy with nothing. They're not busy.
It's just an excuse.
With complete minutia. But we're going to delve into that minutia and find out exactly what they've been busy with.
The thing I always think of, like when you sort of pitched me the idea, is that thing in New York. It's kind of in New York, but I guess it's everywhere else.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Let's say, back when we were dating and stuff, not dating each other, but you'd have a date and it'd be the day of. And you'd be like 2 hours from like when you have to go meet the girl, and then she'd text you and be like, I can't make it. And then you'd be like so relieved. Even if you were even looking forward to the date, you'd be so relieved. And then you'd be relieved and you'd do nothing with that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
right, because it's like found time or something.
And so there's this whole thing, I think, of people, obviously, sorry I've been so busy is a global excuse that people use to get out of things or to get out of, the guilt of not hanging out. Like I said, I get bogged down in the minutia of the title of the show. But yes, we're going to talk about what makes people so busy. What the fuck are you so busy with? People?
I think, and I think, like I said, everything from the big to the little.
To the small.
What have you been busy with? Tell me something you've been busy with this week.
Chris Matthews, tell me something I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The month of February I've been off.
Right.
Because I finished a project and I start a project on Monday. So it's been a lot of minutia, but I'm livid right now because and some of the listeners don't know, but I have a very interesting history with salad and vegetables.
Yes.
I'm a very picky eater. I'm a reformed picky eater. Now I'm a foodie.
Right.
But I still have issues with vegetables. I don't like peas. I have a lot of texture issues like tomatoes and mushrooms and avocado, like anything like squishy. And anyway.
I have some, but not nearly.
A lot of issues. In fact, Matt and I pitched a food show about people, picky eaters.
Traveling.
The title became Food Fears, but we wanted to call it Shitty Eaters.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to divert. Here's the thing. I'm very new to salad. In my 30s, I'm like, you know what? I'm opening myself up. I'm going to eat salad. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would actually eat a salad for lunch, I would have told you that, Hitler has a baby penis.
Yeah. Both true.
Both true. Out. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Who knew? Anyway, so I'm very new to salad. Love Chopped.
Yeah.
The Chopped chain.
Chopped the chain, not the show.
See, yes, I love the show
but
as well.
Separate episode.
For that reason, we had to chop you.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. About a year ago, I work at, a lot of my career has been in Times Square, 1515 Broadway, and so there's a Chopped right there. That's sort of where I learned to eat salad. And there are certain things I like on the salad. I'm still it's not easy for me in a Chopped because there's a million things to choose from. I eat about 4 of them. So I'm very beholden to those 4 things and the one dressing I really like. So about a year ago, they discontinued the creamy sriracha dressing.
Oh no.
And I was livid.
Yeah.
I was so upset. And I'm not the guy who ever writes Yelp reviews or writes angry consumer emails to people, to companies. But I was so mad I went back to the office and I tweeted at Chopped, how could you get rid of creamy sriracha? This is clearly your best dressing. Anyway, they wrote me right back and they put an email address in the tweet. So I was like, well, now they're baiting me. So I emailed Chopped.
Sure.
And on a future episode, I will read you the email because it's very eloquent.
Yeah.
But I went into this whole thing about how I'm new to salad and how it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
This was like the one dressing that on the low calorie list that wasn't like a vinaigrette, that wasn't too salady, and it made everything taste good. Anyway, I was very upset. Very nice of them. They sent me a card for a free salad. They were like, here's a card for a free salad. Hope you find your next favorite.
Yeah.
Very nice of them. I give them credit.
Okay.
Now we're in present day.
Yeah.
I have all this time off.
Flash forward.
Swinging door, improv term. A Chopped opened in Astor Place.
Okay.
And they were giving away free salads. This is big news. It's like a block from my apartment. So I go, and everything I like about Chopped is gone. It's gone.
What do you mean?
They've gotten rid of everything I like. So I'm in line. I get the kebab Cobb salad with spinach.
Okay.
and I have my four toppings, right?
Yeah.
So I start with the lady. I go, how about give me red onion? She go, oh, we don't have red onion. We have scallions. Fine, that's an okay trade-off, but still red onion.
How do you not? Red onion is a basic salad.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Then I go, bell pepper. She goes, we don't have bell pepper. We have roasted red pepper.
That's
I go,
inexcusable.
what?
Bell pepper, one of the top 5 most popular salads.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now I'm flustered. Now I'm flustered, and I'm like, corn? Things like I would never, I didn't know what to do. So anyway, I get my salad. Then I get to the line, and at Chopped, they used to give you this flatbread, sort of like what a wrap comes in.
Yeah.
Like triangles.
Yeah.
Very good. Very light.
Sure.
Never felt like a huge carb loading thing.
Yeah.
No, they give me a big piece of sourdough. What? Who wants to eat a big piece of sourdough with a big salad?
It's not the reason you're getting salad.
Yeah. Anyway, peppers and onions, you can confirm. That's ground zero. That's baseline salad.
Yeah, they're right up there with cucumbers and tomatoes. That's your most common,
Chopped, what are you doing?
So they sort of screw things up.
So most of my month of February has been me.
I really thought this was going to end with them bringing the dressing back.
I wish it did. No,
that wouldn't.
It ends with me storming in an overcoat.
You're done with Chopped?
I don't know if I'm done with Chopped, but how do you not have red onions and bell peppers?
Yeah, that's basic. They're going to deal with a lot of blowback on that, I think.
Lot of vegetable blowback.
I think there's going to be a lot of red pepper blowback.
Well, I had a lot of blowback from the salad I ended up eating.
Oh, boy.
Hey,
this is not good. By the way, I should mention we have a guest we're going to bring in a minute. You've
been hearing him chuckle.
Probably people have been hearing lots of chuckling, but wondering
how
am I talking and chuckling at the same time.
So angry.
This is I think this is a good indication of the level of discourse we're going to have on this podcast. Is you were talking about salad, and because and there will be times when we're going to have important things that we've actually been busy with that we'll discuss. I was literally going to talk about my laundry, which I think is sort of on the same.
Yeah, of course. Well, the one last note is I've spent this whole month debating whether I send another letter to Chopped.
Right. You don't want to be.
So stand by for that, guys.
Don't. It's funny because I don't
want to be the crazy guy.
Supported you, but you don't want to be the crazy guy who's harassing.
I do. One future episode, I'll read the original letter I sent because it's very eloquent. Tell me about your laundry.
Well, my grandmother once.
Air your dirty laundry.
My grandmother did get the recipe for Bisquick changed.
Really?
They changed it, and she wrote them a letter, and they wrote her a letter back that said a lot of other people complained, and we listened to you, and we changed the recipe.
Her face should be on the box. She should be Aunt Jemima.
She should be Aunt Bisquick, yeah. So I actually have been busy. I've been working full time, and as you know, we have a baby, so life is pretty busy. And one of the things that we don't have a lot of time for right now is laundry. So if I'm off work, I tend to do my own laundry, but if I'm not, we tend to just send it out. And
love the send out.
Yeah, the send out. So for whatever reason, you would think sending out the laundry would make life just easy. And it is easy.
The wash and fold.
It's so easy, but for some reason, even this very easy thing becomes like a 4-day process for me.
Really?
So, Monday morning, I call the guy. This is just a typical week for me. Monday morning, I call them and they pick up the laundry at your door. But you have to
only in New York.
Yes. But I have a limited amount of time in the morning. So we have 2 hampers: my wife's hamper, my hamper. I have to go through the hamper and make sure nothing accidentally dry cleaning got in there, because I've gotten in trouble for that before, where things have been ruined. I've accidentally,
Tell me about it.
So
half of marriage.
Yeah. So sometimes I even try to do it the night before, on a Sunday night. I'll try to get all the laundry together so that it's ready when I call the guy in the morning. But otherwise, I have to time it out where I call the guy, take the next half hour to organize it, and then get it organized. So that, and then I'm also just basically sort of scrambling for whatever singles I can find in the house, because obviously we're paying them with a credit card that they have on file.
So now you're at a strip club.
Also, the guy's picking up the laundry, and it really varies from sometimes I give him nothing because I don't have any small bills.
Do you stuff the singles in his jeans?
I stuff them in my jeans, and then I give him my dirty.
Are they in your mouth? Are the singles in your mouth,
in my mouth.
Place it between his supple breasts?
So, and then usually it takes about 24. So by Tuesday morning, I can call and have the laundry delivered. But by the time it's delivered, I don't have time to unpack unpack it. And so what ends up happening is the laundry sits. I should mention I'm in charge of laundry in my house. We have different sort of like chores, different things that are split. For whatever reason, I've always been laundry guy. So the laundry bag will sit sort of unpacked until generally either A, somebody needs something desperately from it, like I've run out.
You mean the return laundry?
The returned, clean, folded laundry.
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal in my house.
Or either someone needs it or it can no longer be, or I have time to like actually like go through it and unpack it. But the weird thing is, so I will go through, I will unpack the folded laundry, and thank God I don't have to fold it. I hate folding.
The wash and fold.
And all of my laundry I will put away in its special drawer or a shelf. My wife's laundry I put in a big pile and I just leave it somewhere because I don't know what goes in what drawer, and I don't want to. And we've been together, living together for probably 8 years in one way or another. I still don't know what goes in what drawer.
I agree.
So I just leave it in a big pile. I don't want to like accidentally
Jamie's always like, you're just folding your stuff? And I'm like, I don't want to
screw up. Yeah, I don't want to put something in the wrong drawer or the wrong pile. I also...
Is this a bra? It looks like a tank top. I don't know.
No idea. Separate issue. This is not an issue with the wash and fold, but after however many years, I do not know how to fold a pair of women's underwear.
No, it's weird.
It's the smallest item, and I don't know how to fold it.
You shouldn't have to fold a thong.
No, it doesn't take up any less space.
Yeah, you just rumple it up.
Yeah, you just crumple it in a ball, and
I'm pretty sure that's how you do it.
Yeah, it's like socks. So thankfully they fold that. Thankfully, a strange man is folding my wife's underwear. Otherwise,
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that is weird to think about, but yeah. So yesterday I finally got around to folding, to unpacking the laundry, and then, like when my wife got home, she put hers away.
We just recently had a bag of laundry that sat unpacked for about a week, and Jamie got back from traveling, and I said, this is like the most proud I've been of you, because she's like an immediate unpacker. And I was like, I'm having an influence on you. Look, this bag sat here for a week.
Well,
and then, of course, we had to do it immediately.
You're getting into a thing where when it's packed in the bag, it's clean, it's tidy, it's organized. If once you unpack it, you have to fully unpack it. Otherwise, it's become.
I was definitely digging in like one pair of boxers, one undershirt.
Yeah, that's when things get out of control. We should bring in our guest.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you introduce our guest for today?
I'm so excited. This is amazing. Yeah. Our first episode to have such an accomplished, very busy guy.
Yes.
Michael H. Weber.
Michael H. Weber.
Welcome. Screenwriter extraordinaire. Philadelphia sports fan.
Yes.
And a very close friend of both of ours. And, very excited.
He has, let's see.
Tween.
No.
Oh boy. Tween adaptation. God.
Well, yes, but 500 Days of Summer.
Spectacular
right?
Now.
Yeah.
What's the third one? I always forget the third one.
Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah. Guys, let's not forget Pink Panther 2.
Pink Panther 2.
Yeah.
Yes. Was there a subtitle?
The tweens loved it.
I can probably tell this story now because enough years have gone by. Our initial subtitle was Pink Panther 2. Seriously? That did not fly. Then it was.
Did that ever make it onto the page? Did that subtitle, did that ever get typed and printed?
I think that it definitely got on a page. I'm just wondering how far it got before probably our agent and managers were like, you guys want to work again, right? Like, that's a bad idea. And then I think at some point it became Pink Panther 2, The Panther Always Rings Twice. That got rejected. And then I don't think there's a subtitle.
No.
But if you're on Pink Panther 2, like you're working with Steve Martin, right?
That was the most exciting part for us because we got to sit down with him and pitch jokes and story stuff.
That's got to be the best part of the whole one for us, one for them screenwriting
I mean,
deal.
This was at a point where like we're struggling to get work, and we got a studio job on a movie that was definitely getting made, which in the baby steps of a career is a very big step. And
there's probably a certain number of people like Steve Martin on the level where it's like, whatever that guy, I don't care how shitty it is, I'm in. It's like I would do it just to meet them. But how do we know?
I'm excited to be here, by the way. Thank you guys. This is really a lot of fun, and I've known you a few years, Matt, and Andrew, I've known you 10 years. I'm excited. I just learned the correct pronunciation of your last name. So this is a big day.
It's a big thing. We'll do a whole episode on it. But Stein, my mom yelled at me once because I said Steen in front of her.
Yeah.
Apparently it's Stein.
We have a lot of
I don't care. You can call me anything.
A lot of digging to do about your names, your various
I have a lot of names.
Your names, your aliases.
He's got so many names.
Yes. So how do we know Mike Weber?
Well, I know Weber initially.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to go into all the different avenues of how we know each other, but I know.
There's like 5.
Yeah, I know Matt. I know Mike initially because I used to live with Kevin Miller, who is a producer with Matt. He's a producer at Late Night with Matt.
Yeah.
Kevin Miller and I were pages together. We lived together, and Kevin at the time, Kevin's girlfriend at the time was working with. Was in the SNL talent office, who was working, and
Kevin was there too.
So Kevin was there too, and Mike at the time, early in his career, was working in Robert De Niro's office, and they collaborated and became friends. And through them, I met Michael, and that's kind of how we became friends.
I literally did not know that. I did not know that you knew Mike through Kevin.
I know him initially through Kevin and Lindsay, not through.
And then you become friends separately.
And then a whole nother avenue of our friendship happened later on.
Shared interests.
Where we dated. And that just leads into early in your career you worked in Robert De Niro's office. And now it's Rob De Niro and
But I love
Steve
that
Martin.
you use collaborated when I was
Bob
doing assistant stuff, and then when Bob, as we were told to call him
in the business,
hosted Saturday Night Live, he brought me along for the week just to hang out, and that was obviously I think the first time he hosted I was 24, and you're hanging out backstage at SNL all week. It's the coolest thing ever. And that's where I became friends with Lindsay and Kevin, and then met you, Ange, through them.
Right. And then we met, I think, separately. I was living in L.A., and you were here, and we followed each other on Twitter.
Yes, and then we had empanadas.
Yes, we did. No, we had arepas. That was later.
Yeah.
But we became friends through Twitter, and then I separately found out that I didn't even know that you knew him or were friends with him at the time. But then this is really kind of...
And you see on Twitter people who you follow, and you saw that
we could spend 20 minutes dissecting this.
Untangling.
But then I'm from New York, but I'm a huge Philadelphia sports fan. Half my family's from the Philly area. So then we all connected over...
You grew up in New York, but you're a Philly sports fan?
Exactly.
Right.
I was very conflicted.
I was raised properly.
Yes, that's true.
Now, flash forward to present day, our relationship is like basically based around the Sixers, process of becoming good again.
And food. We live a few blocks from each other.
We live a few blocks from each other. Michael has, gone to dinner with me and my now fiance, and he's like our dinner companion. And I mean, I'm on text chains with his college friends about not just Philly. There's a Philly sports list, and then I'm on a separate email chain with a larger group of his college friends about like general sports topics.
But it's mostly the Sacramento Kings.
Mostly the Sacramento Kings. It's really strange. And I get all these texts at night, and Jamie's always like, "Who are you texting at midnight?" And I'm like, "Andy Grabra?" Like, guys, I don't even know. But they're Michael's friend, but that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
But it's been great. It's been like a super fun friendship that's come out of all kinds of different avenues. But
and we should say you're we've mentioned you're a movie, mostly screenwriter for films, and so same area of interest as us, but different sort of like entertainment, whatever, writing things. But
the bottom line is, you go in and out of being really frickin' busy.
Yeah, when we're in the thick of a project, I write with my friend and writing partner Scott Neustadter, who lives in L.A. and I live in New York, which is a whole other crazy thing because we never write in the same place.
Yeah. You've never met in person, is that correct?
I have no idea what he looks like. No, it's he actually for a while he brought a picture of me to general meetings where I'd be on the phone and he'd be in the room.
It's like in a frame.
Yeah, and he'd bring a little picture of me to like prop up.
And when you were when you were talking on the phone, he would move the picture like he would have the mouth.
It's a Conan bit from 1993.
Right, yeah. And so,
but and then it's funny. So there's an ebb and flow.
Right.
I was in LA for most of December and all of January. We were shooting a new movie.
Yeah.
And at that point you're
Pink
legitimately busy. We were shooting The Disaster Artist, which is a true story, the first true story we've done, about these two guys who went on to make the worst movie of all time,
The Room.
The Room.
Yeah.
Pink Panther 2.
It's a bio. It's a self. How
about this? Pink Panther 2 for real? Like, make it a little modern.
You don't bring up
To the
Pink
time
Panther
machine.
2 and then expect us to get past it. Go on. Yeah.
So December and January, very busy. And now is the lull after that,
Right.
where it's a combination of sort of rewriting some old things, chasing some new projects.
Yeah. You have
So
a very
it's-
different day-to-day than us. Your day-to-day really varies.
Like, you're never
from-
in an office.
Oh God, no. That to me, I'm allergic to that thought. Like,
Right.
that scares the crap out of me.
And this might go a little too far, but just because I know you, even in dating, like, if you date someone who, like, has an office job, you're, like, immediately turned off.
I'm not, that might be a little far, but I have the hardest time relating to that structure of your life.
I don't know how you are. I'm the exact opposite, where I am an office creature.
You
and
need
if I'm
an
not
office.
in an office, there are days when I'm not working when I go into my office just to
I hear
be
you.
in front of the computer. And I like the routine. I like the structure.
Yeah.
I like and the times in my life when I've worked on like shoots, I don't like standing up all day.
Right. See, I like shoots. I love being on set. I love being where the action
I
is.
hate being on set.
And all that, but and I've done it a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm the same way. If the only way I'll really do something is if I'm in an office.
Yeah.
No home distractions. Like, writing at home for me is very difficult.
Matt, I'm actually with you because I do not love production.
Right.
I love catering. That's my favorite part of production.
Yeah,
but
especially in LA.
There's so much downtime. And Scott and I, we're not always on set, but when we are, we're trying to help out in any way we can. But for the most part, there's so much sitting around, and for us, we both get antsy that we should be writing. We have something else we should be doing. So my favorite part of the process is sitting in a coffee shop, or is trusting the process. Nice.
Yeah.
We had to get that in there.
I had to get that in.
Hashtag.
Okay, so let's see if we can do this. This is real minutia. So, like, let's say you're writing a script. Break down for me the percentage of locations that you actually are physically doing your writing in. So, like, let's say, like, coffee shop, desk in your apartment, in bed, whatever. Like, break it down for me.
Let's see. You know what? I generally will take a stab at a first draft of a scene at a coffee place. And then I'll probably rewrite it at another coffee place in the afternoon.
Do you have one specific place, or different? You have like a few in your neighborhood that you sort of rotate around?
You know what? I live downtown in New York. There's so many great coffee places. So I like attempt to exhaust a place. So I'll keep going there.
I'll tell you one thing. Don't go to Chopped. They got rid of fucking onions and peppers.
I went to that Chopped the other day for the first time. A little disappointed. And I was not a Chopped person. This was my first time in any Chopped. And the choices were a little weird, and there were too many dressing options. It was a little overwhelming.
Instead of cream for coffee, they now have orange juice. You put orange juice in your coffee instead of cream. No.
Well, they also...
One other thing from it just reminded me from the creamy sriracha debacle.
Yeah.
When I was complaining in store about them not having the creamy sriracha, the girl goes, well, you could do ranch and we'll add a little sriracha. And I go, that's not creamy sriracha.
No, it's not.
Well, you know what else is weird there is that when there's so many salad dressing options, so she goes, do you want to try the salad dressing? But salad dressing's not something that you just...
I don't stick my pinky in a thing.
You don't get that doesn't tell you anything.
No, that's not going to give you any sense of what it is actually going to taste like on the dress, on the salad. So
anyway,
you're jumping from coffee shop to coffee shop.
I'll say this, when we're actually writing, I'll spend 2/3 of my time writing out in public, whether that's coffee shops, bookstores, libraries, and then 1/3 of the time writing at home. Generally, the part that I write at home is the last part where I'm sort of like a final rigorous edit before I send it to Scott.
Like where Shailene Woodley does something? Like those parts?
This is the part where we find out whether the person is going to survive or not.
Yeah.
No.
Spoiler alert.
Where do you write the cancer stuff?
Yeah.
The cancer stuff gets written very quickly. In
an oncology ward. No.
He goes to Sloan Kettering for inspiration.
Yeah. I wrote my scenes of Fault in Our Stars probably at The Bean, and McNally Jackson. So those were probably the places I went to when I wrote.
That's a coffee shop and a bookstore.
And a bookstore, yeah.
Okay. And then when you're writing in your apartment,
Was the bean malignant or?
You're at a desk.
I'm at a desk, although sometimes I like to pace. I don't.
You pace?
I have trouble sitting still, so I will print up the scene and pace and start writing on the piece of paper and crossing things out, and then edit it on the computer, print it up again. And for some reason, I have a harder time looking at the computer and editing what I'm looking at on the screen. Where if I print it up, I then start writing all over it, and I don't know why my brain works better that way.
Using a lot of paper.
I waste a lot of paper. Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. I don't know about you.
He's looking at me.
I do have a printer in my apartment, but I don't write a lot of long scripts. And so when I tend to have to print a large document, I always like to do that in my office. Whereas you are probably doing some heavy printing at home.
I'll say this, though, most scenes in a movie are 2, 3, 4 pages. How many scenes are longer than that?
Right.
So when I'm
really
sitting around
need to
pacing,
look at one scene,
I'm generally not printing up large batches till Scott and I will get about a third of the way in, and then we'll stop and go through kind of the whole thing and see how it's going, and do that again probably around 2/3 of the way through. And then at the end, I'll do a couple of like rigorous reads of the whole thing with a pen out, like very nitty gritty. Which again, I like to do that on the those steps along the way, I waste a lot of paper.
Well, you definitely miss stuff if you're reading on the screen as opposed to the actual paper.
It's easier to skim and fool yourself into thinking that you're reading the whole thing.
And you know what you find? Like, something works until it doesn't, and then you find another way. Like, the pressure of, we have to just get this done. So I'll go to a certain coffee place because I'm like, I have great mojo here, and it's just coming out of me. And then suddenly you have a couple of not great days in a row there, and I'm like, fuck this place. I'm going to find someplace else to work. If printing it out works now, there was a while where I was handwriting everything.
Yeah.
And then that stopped. That was years ago, but then that stopped working. So what I'm talking about might work, and then one day it just stops working, and I got to find a new thing that works because I got to get it done.
I have such trouble with organization and work things like emails. I print out emails, and I will go through them at work.
Wow.
And if somebody gives me notes in an email for a script,
I do that too.
I have to print out the email.
Wow.
Because I'll miss something if I'm just reading it on a screen. Because my brain works of like, I'm a skimmer and I'm like I get it.
Oh,
but if it's on the screen, I will
That's interesting.
I will cross out the line with a red pen.
That's to me.
I have to take these extra precautions to make sure that I hit everything because I'm such a lazy, step skipper.
I'm not a lazy, but I print it out because I turn everything into a checklist. So we get notes or whatever, and then I'm like, with the marker, okay, we did that.
Yeah.
Okay, we did that, and then
my whole notebook at work is writing the little boxes in the margin and checking off things I have to do. Otherwise, it will not get done.
That's
I have a very tough time.
Because I'm a big list maker, handwritten list, but I don't print out a lot of things.
I have Post-its in every single place in my apartment. I have them in the bathroom. I have them on my nightstand. This is a habit I picked up.
Equations with lipstick on the mirror, that kind of thing. Yeah.
When I first started working for De Niro, it was very an analog. Bob. It was an analog office. There was one computer for 6 people, and that was only used when someone needed to type up like an official letter. So everything was done by hand. This wasn't that long ago. And everyone used Post-its, and then the Post-it habit has not gone away.
Yeah.
I imagine Bob's office as one of those old-timey phone things with the old lady sitting there, and there's all the holes, and she's putting the what do you call that? The switchboard.
Switchboard. Yeah. Oh, by the way, so we're talking about when I first started working was in the year 2000.
Please hold for Bob De Niro.
No, we had one of those books where it kept like a phone log where every page was like 6 sort of things that people that called, and there were boxes of years. So like, here was all the phone calls from 1987. Here are all they were still doing that in 2000 and 2001, which is crazy.
So they have record of Bob saying yes to The Intern.
That's more recent.
I like The Intern.
I didn't see it.
It's one of those where
it was The Intern or Burnt, and Jamie and I watched Burnt.
Oh, wow. I did not see either.
We did not have not seen Burnt, but we did see The Intern, and I have to say, for what do you expect it to be? That's perfect.
What everyone says about it.
Perfectly enjoyable.
All right.
And watchable.
That's what everyone says for what you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Can I ask one screenwriting question, and then we'll get into the minutia of what your day?
Yeah, because right now I'm not even writing something, so it's actually a very different.
That's what I want to hear about. Is the non.
Yeah, I want to get this out of the way. I've told you many times there's a movie inside me, and it's one day I will do it. And I think the thing that the biggest fear I have is that, like, and it's so cliche, but it's that first day blank page. Like, I know there's 70 pages that have to that come out of me, and just like starting, like literally I'm defeated going into trying to do a project like that. So I want to know, like, you doing this all the time, how do you get past that, like, initial holy crap, I have to do 70 pages and all these ideas are in my head, how do I get them out in a discernible order?
Outlining and breaking everything into the smallest increments of parts to do. Because if you have a great idea and in your brain it seems really fully formed and you sit down and I'm going to just write this thing, it will never happen.
Right.
For Scott and I, in some ways every project is a dialogue, and it starts with us emailing back and forth, just talking about what is it about? Why will anyone give a shit? Why this story now? And we go back and forth.
If not now, when?
If not now, if not us, who?
Next year in Jerusalem.
It's like a little bit of a thematic conversation. It's a little bit of a story conversation. It's a little bit of a character conversation. And it's a little bit of, in some ways, a marketing thing just towards us. Like, would we go see this?
Yeah.
And that dialogue eventually becomes, there's enough pieces there where we decide to start to put together an outline.
Right.
And we go back and forth emailing on the outline and filling it out, and there's bolds and questions, and we will spend as much time outlining as we will writing. And we will put, and the outline doesn't have any special format. I mean, it's a paragraph about every scene, but sometimes it's more than a paragraph if we have ideas. So we will cram that outline with everything we have, and it is a crazy internal document that would be unreadable to anyone else, because we've been doing this together for 15 years.
Right.
But then the nice thing is, when it comes time to finally write, we've done the heavy lifting, and it almost becomes paint by numbers. It's red goes here and blue goes there.
Right.
A lot of times the outline will even have transitions, which is one of the hardest things to figure out in a good
especially in a comedy. That's the whole key. Is every scene has to end on like a fun.
We don't write comedies. Like, we're kind of defensive about this, that we're not funny. I mean, we can write amusing dialogue, but we do not write jokey set pieces. It would take us an entire day to write 2 jokes.
Right.
And you guys are hilarious, and I've seen you machine gun style, like jokes come out of you. Scott and I cannot do that.
Right.
But we feel good about character and thematic stuff and dialogue and that we will cram as much of that into the outline, so that when it comes time to write, it's literally one of us takes scenes 1 through 4, the other takes 5 through 8, and a day later or 2 days later, we're emailing each other our batches, reading, editing, emailing back.
It's fascinating.
But breaking it off into the smallest increments is how it gets done, and gets done quickly, because morale is so hard to manage. And if you just sit down with a good idea and go, I'm going to just crank out these 100 pages, you will halfway through realize, oh shit, I need to do something different, or oh fuck, I should have put this in the first act, and you'll keep chasing your own tail, and your morale will dip and dip, and it'll get to the point where you are just sick of this and go, fuck this thing, I'm moving on to the next project, and nothing will ever get done. Yeah. And outlining is not sexy or fun.
That's what I was going to say. I think you have to really enjoy the part that's not fun. Like, you have to, because that's the job, really.
I hate whatever phase we're in. So if we are outlining, I'm internally burning with,
but doing it with
I hate outlining.
Else
I can't wait to be writing. And if we're writing, I go, God, I hate writing. I can't wait till we're editing. And then when we're editing, I'm like, why did I ever editing is the worst.
Yeah.
I want to be like, thinking about new things. And then when we're thinking about new things, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be outlining.
But doing it with somebody else probably makes it more fun, because then it's actually a conversation. It's not like, it makes it probably...
You know what, it's whatever we need it to be. Yeah. So sometimes it's more fun, and sometimes it's more, oh shit, I gotta get this done because he's waiting for me.
Yeah.
So we lean on each other for whatever we need from each other, and sometimes it's, this is so much fun. And a lot of times it's, oh shit, I gotta get this done because you're waiting for me. And it's actually nice that we're not, we're on opposite coasts, because I'll wake up usually to something from him because he was working later than I was.
Right. By
the time he's up, sends his kid to preschool, gets to Starbucks, like he will usually have something waiting for me because I've been up before him, So it's a nice, it almost feels like of the 24 hours in a day, someone's at the wheel for 20 of those hours.
Right.
One of us.
That's good. We got to get him on and find out what coffee shops he goes to in LA.
I know.
He says Starbucks. I was surprised.
No, by the way, I'm the rare writer who does not drink coffee, although I sit in coffee shops all day long.
Right.
Scott loves Starbucks. I can vouch. I know him well enough.
That's the name of my other podcast.
Scott loves Starbucks.
Scott loves Starbucks, and when he's in New York visiting and stuff, we'll go to like Think Coffee or The Bean or something, and he's like, no, take me to Starbucks.
Because I think we should talk about. So, he's
different.
You're not working on stuff. Or you're not in a writing and this is what I want to hear about is like when you're not like in the throes of like writing something or shooting something, like what a typical day is like.
You think of a writer and it's that time of writing the first draft of something new is the most pure in terms of writing and that goes by very quickly because we spend so much time outlining and that only happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
Right.
Where most of the time it's all these other things.
Yeah.
So because we finished shooting this movie at the very end of January right now, we're making small changes to a movie we wrote for Netflix for Robert Redford and Jane Fonda, which is very exciting, and working for them has been amazing.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of little tweaks. It's a little, Jane Fonda emails an idea.
Jane Fonda loves little tweaks.
Yeah.
By the way, she loves email. She sends great emails, and her ideas are awesome.
This is another teen picture, by the way, right?
Yeah, totally. Right. They're both playing 17-year-olds.
Okay, yeah.
It is a love story, actually. Okay. But I will say there's no tragedy in this, which is actually what makes it pretty cool.
Somebody has celiac in the movie, but it's not a big plot point.
It's not fatal. So our day is a split between small edits on this one project and a lot of waiting around to hear back from Netflix what their notes are. And then we are chasing another project that I can't say what it is, but it ends up being like a lot of conversations with producers. There's sort of hoops you jump through. So it's sort of you have an initial phone call with the producer who tells you kind of what they're thinking. Then you go off and sort of play with it on your own. Then you talk to that producer again and tell them what you've been playing with. Then you talk to that person's boss and kind of go through that again. And so our day right now is a mix of a lot of phone calls with the people who may or may not hire us for this project.
Okay.
And then like
so what? Wait, let's what time did you wake up yesterday?
I woke up probably 8:15, but kind of didn't get out of bed till more like 8:45.
Alarm, or you woke up on your own?
Naturally.
Woke up naturally.
Woke up naturally.
Yeah. Okay.
I rarely set an alarm, which I love.
Yeah. In bed, looking at your phone or reading? What are you doing in bed?
I am staunchly anti-electronics in the bedroom. This is a very firm belief of mine. I do not bring the phone into the bedroom. I do not have a TV in the bedroom. And I've had fights with many now ex-girlfriends about TV in the bedroom because...
My favorite band.
TV. This is a thing. No, I actually am on board with this. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to get too much into my own personal life, but we are
the reason why those rules exist. Like, we have the TV going and neither of us are watching it because we're both on our phones.
What I want is what you have. So I will get in bed and my wife has to watch TV to fall asleep, and my preference would be no TV. And read a book in bed, but
nerd alert.
She has to watch TV, and in order to make it so that if she had her preference, she would watch something that, and if this is my own, that I would distract me and I wouldn't be able to read my book, and so as a compromise, I put on something that we both enjoy. And I'm watching TV, even though I don't want to be.
Are you like me? Do you look forward to when she finally falls asleep and you can change the channel to, like, the Spurs-Warriors game?
That, I would say that's like a third of the time. The other 2/3 of the time is I'm looking forward to her falling asleep so that I can turn off the TV and, fall asleep with my own thoughts.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, okay, so
I fall asleep to my phone. Like, I fall asleep to Twitter. It's terrible.
Yeah,
but here I am telling you guys, these are the rules of my house, and like, I'm single. So,
you're alone.
You know, like, I'm alone, and, so.
Dead inside, would you say?
I should maybe, and feeling a little dead inside, so I should probably
so you're
be a
waking
little more
up,
flexible.
and for a half an hour, you're
you know,
like...
maybe it could be less than a half hour, but I'd say I'm not, you know, it's that half in and out of sleep. So sometimes it's less than a half hour, but it's never more than that.
Yeah.
So you kind of...
What's getting you, in this period of time when you're chasing a script and not necessarily working on a script, what gets you out of bed?
Great question.
What gets Mike Weber out of bed?
I jokes aside, I like this part of the process, when you're figuring out what something is. So Scott and I, it's a lot of phone calls and emails of, you know, it's a little bit figuring out, especially this is a job we would be hired for. It's not an original idea.
Yeah.
So the studio has a project and we are trying to be hired for it. So it's a combination of, do they know what they want? What do they want? But also what excites us about it? What's the version of this we would go see? So it's a lot of conversations talking about movies we love, going, well, it's a little bit like this and it's a little bit like that. And then why we love those movies, and oh, you know what they haven't done? They haven't done a version of blah 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 in a long time, but let's put a twist on it so it's a little different and more like this. So,
but because there's no like sort of office structure and boss and hey, do you have to call Scott and be like, dude, I just need a day off, and because I need to do my laundry and go to the bank and go to the post office, and I just need a day. He
has a kid, so he's a lot busier than I am with child raising things that I don't understand at all.
Right.
But I think, you know, we'll say to each other a lot, like, okay, hey, I'm not around tomorrow morning, but then anything you send me, I'll be around in the afternoon. We do a lot of that.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why this has worked for so long is that we just put the work first. Like, we rarely, I mean, one of us can say, oh, hey, are you going to send me that thing? But it's never like days of, dude, I've been waiting for you 4 days. Where's that? You know, it doesn't get to that point because we're both like,
right. You're not passing out drunk and being like, you can't get in touch with you for 3 days.
No, that's not us at all. Like, we're just not, we also love to work, and we're also both scared to death of never working again. So fear is a tremendous motivator to stay working, and we know we're obviously very fortunate.
I'm really just trying to get to your laundry store. I mean, your post office story.
Wait.
So.
Wait. So I do, but by the way, now's the time, you know what? Now's the time in between projects where I have a ton of time to catch up on life things.
Yeah.
And one of them, yesterday, oddly enough.
I want to hear
Okay,
it. Wait,
so,
I don't want to. So you wake up. Take us real quick
to get
through
me to the
day.
post office.
You wake up. Take us real quick through the day. You wake up.
I was lying in bed for maybe 15 or 20 minutes yesterday. I wake
Breakfast.
up. I have some tea in the morning, some black tea. I love tea.
Sure.
I have a bowl of cereal. I love cereal.
What kind of cereal?
At any point, I have 5 different boxes of cereal in my apartment. I love cereal.
Such a single guy.
And
it's
I always,
amazing.
but here's the thing with cereal for me. Like, it's less about which cereal and more about the types. So I always have something from the cinnamon family.
Yeah.
I always have something from the, like, vanilla family.
Yeah.
I always have something that's like a sort of healthy cereal, but not really.
Did you
like
read the New York Times piece about how cereal is like going away?
I was devastated.
Devastating. That was the saddest newspaper article I've ever read.
That was so alarming, and because there's always stuff like we're not millennials. That was one of the first things where I go,
millennials aren't eating cereal. I'm like that because they're becoming cereal bars and
there are no breakfast sandwiches.
Breakfast sandwiches and burritos.
Which, by the way, I love a good breakfast sandwich, but like on a work day, I'm gonna have cereal. Like, keep the routine. Yeah. That so saddened me. A world without cereal.
I was reading that article just imagining Seinfeld like getting out of his like $1 billion bed, and he opens the New York Times and he reads it and he's like, no!
It was deeply upsetting to me.
Yeah. So you have cereal.
I have cereal, and then I get moving. Then I get to, I usually, I'll glance at like the Philly sports pages while I'm having my cereal, but then I am more of a morning person, so I like to get working as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So, and look, there are times I write from home right away because I want to get started.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I'll get out the door and go somewhere. And
go have more tea.
And usually I have a little more tea, but I generally at that point have something waiting for me from Scott. It could be an email. Yesterday it was an email of more thoughts about this thing we're chasing.
Yeah.
Based on a conversation we had the day before with the studio, where the studio threw a couple more ideas at us that were not that easy to incorporate. So now it's like, okay, how do we take their thoughts and make that mesh with all the stuff that we like that we've already done that or why we were interested in this in the first place. So he and I will email back and forth a lot. Then I'll generally go home for lunch.
Yeah. What's lunch?
Lunch is always peanut butter and jelly.
Wow.
Always.
This is
and I am
routine.
I'm
every day. Let's get into it.
I am.
What kind of jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly is my finest art.
Wow.
Wow.
And I don't call it jelly, but I use jam of some kind. My peanut butter
Planner all fruit?
Planner all fruit. I like that jam they have at Whole Foods with the bear on it. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm forgetting the name of it right now. I'm totally spacing. The one with the bear. Crofters?
Okay.
Crofters, is that it?
Fancy peanut butter.
There's a bear on it with his paws out.
Doing what bears do.
Yeah, doing what bears do. The peanut butter I get from a mix of places. There's a peanut butter place. I actually just bought a jar of peanut butter from Australia.
Wow.
That someone told me about, so I ordered it online. I haven't tried it yet. It just came yesterday. I'm very excited to try my Australian peanut butter.
How many sandwiches you have?
One.
With anything else?
I mean, maybe have like a little piece of fruit right afterwards,
Yeah.
but like, it's generally about the sandwich. So,
Okay.
I love my peanut butter and jelly. It's like one of the high points of my day.
If you're out and about for lunch, do you still have PB&J or do you?
No. I don't bring it with me.
Right.
I used to occasionally when I was working for De Niro, a couple times I had to bring him Nobu at other restaurants. Like he wanted to eat Nobu but had to eat a meal with someone else somewhere else. So I brought him Nobu to like a different, not a Japanese restaurant. So I do not bring peanut butter and jelly with me to other restaurants.
So if you have a business lunch.
But I like to go home for lunch because it's a little bit of, right. I mean, there are times where there's a business meeting lunch, fine. Then I don't bring a peanut butter and jelly with me. But most days I go home. And it's also like, that's the time I can return some phone calls. It's also, LA is starting to open up.
Sure.
So there's other emails that are suddenly need my attention and I'll do that over lunch.
Okay.
Yesterday I did not have, work to do in the afternoon, so it was time for some random errands.
Right.
Andrew, very excited because I had to go to the post office. I got one of those slips that I had a package, which in New York, if people are not in New York, they don't understand, like, you don't always get your package in New York.
Yeah.
You get this annoying slip saying, come to the post office to get your package, but there's no rhyme or reason about why certain packages are delivered and others, they don't attempt delivery, they just hand you a slip.
Yeah.
You are 1 block from the post office. So there's a post office 5 blocks from my apartment, but instead, for some weird zoning reason, my post office is 20 blocks away and halfway across the island.
Right.
Nowhere near me.
Yeah.
It's a trek. It's a giant pain in the ass. So I I decided I was going to walk it and then use walking time to call people back, like return work calls.
I use walking time to call my mom.
Yeah.
I use walking time a lot to call my grandma. But in this case, I was using it to like return work calls.
Yeah.
But it's a 25-minute walk to a post office that's halfway across the island instead of a 4-minute walk.
Literally. That sucks.
It makes no sense. And then I get there.
Only in New York.
I get there and I wait 20 minutes in that line for the packages.
Yeah.
And the woman can't find my package.
Yeah.
And then the most annoying thing she says, did you pick it up already? Which is such an infuriating question because I walked 25 minutes another day, waited in line 20 minutes, got my package, walked home, but totally forgot I did that.
When you're standing at the window with your slip and the guy looks at it and then he walks away into like racks and racks of what look like, the CIA's like bunker where they have files on everything.
It does look very Cold War era.
30 minutes later, the guy walks back with like your package that's been trampled.
Well, they couldn't find my package.
Yeah. Wow.
So she couldn't find it, and then she had to call a supervisor, and then there was a lot of like phone calls and yelling, and then at one point, and I shouldn't laugh about this, but she was like banging around the cage area, and I couldn't see her, but she, I guess, walked into something, because then I hear, because there's like just banging around, and then I just hear, ow.
Oh, no.
Ow. And I'm just, now at this point I've been in the post office for a half hour.
Yeah.
So like, why am I so busy? The post office became like an hour and a half endeavor. But you know the weird thing is like, you would never say to, like, I wasn't in New York for a while, like I have friends I haven't seen. I don't think you would ever say to a friend like, hey, let's like run errands together.
Yeah.
Like you would never, like, Ange, you live a couple blocks from me. I would never go like, hey, I have to go to the post office. Do you want to come with me and we can like catch up and hang out?
I used to do that.
Really?
With Hefter. A buddy of mine that Matt knows.
You would never, like, I would never, like, it just.
It's like that
weird.
Seinfeld where, hey Kramer, you want to go to Yankee Stadium, get flyers off of George's car? And he like says yes immediately. He knows it. Alex knows it.
Did you know what the package was?
It was the package.
It's fancy peanut butter from Guatemala.
Oh, you don't have to tell us. I'm just asking.
The package was 6 or 7, I don't remember, pairs of socks from J. Crew.
Oh my god!
So it's the.
And it was one of those like.
Here's why you need to work in an office, because if you get, I used to put.
But why was that not dropped off? It's not a big box.
I know.
The box was like 18 inches by 10 inches.
I know.
And was so light as a feather.
Did they find it?
Eventually they found it. And she was so annoyed. So her day was ruined because she found it. Like, the whole thing was.
It's a backwards universe at the post office.
I made the mistake of asking her, why it wasn't delivered.
Oh yeah, don't.
And like you get the world. You
don't want to know their process.
You get the world's largest. Like in response to a question like that.
We're not going to have postal workers on. Sorry, I've been so busy because you do not want to know how that sausage.
And by the way, when I moved, so I don't know my newer postal person. My previous one where I lived for 8 or 9 years was awesome, and my pal, and like we were very chummy. That never would have happened previously. I just didn't have I don't have the rapport yet in New York, which is an important thing to like the rapport with your postal delivery person, but your UPS person, your FedEx person is such a key like rapport to have in New York.
Says the guy who works at home. Like I don't know any of those people.
No, because by the way, in UPS, the number of things like you'd be surprised. Like the UPS guy until they know you. They won't even buzz you if they don't feel like, oh, your package is heavy. Like, screw it. I'll just slap a sticker on.
Yeah.
And how much closer to your apartment is there a J. Crew than that post office that you could? That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Okay, so you guys, I'm sure you do this. Like, it's that.
You're like Megyn Kelly right now, where you just burnt Donald Trump.
Those 45 minutes before you go to bed on a weeknight, where you're like kind of in front of the computer, you haven't gone into the bedroom yet, you're sort of like, you're like answering a couple of emails that you forgot about, and an email popped up, and this was weeks ago, and it was sort of some kind of sale on socks, and I was wearing at the time socks that had holes in them, and I was like, you know what? Instead of taking an hour to schlep to a J. Crew and buy socks or whatever, I'm going to just quickly, socks are on sale, I'm going to just quickly pick out like 6 right now online.
J. Crew will send you a sale email every 3 days.
They probably sent 2 since I've sat down.
They get me every time.
I don't do any of that. That's funny.
Wait, so
I do all
I just thought, I'm going to save so much time. I'll quickly just boom, 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 picked out 6 pairs of socks.
That's how they get you.
They know. But in 5 minutes, and they were on sale, and then of course, that was an idea in order to save time, and then I had to waste an hour and a half round trip to the post office
like my
to
mom
go pick it up. And one of the reasons I refused to cab back was...
No, you can't.
Well, I saved all that money on socks. Now I'm going to spend $20 on a cab.
It's my mom driving 40 minutes to get 99-cent gas because gas is $1.50, and she just spent the money in gas to get to the place with the cheap gas.
No, I had to walk back.
I'm in the middle. I have a case number with the USPS because something I bought for Jamie for Valentine's Day never arrived. And
you have a case number?
The tracking number says it was dropped off in or with in my mailbox or with my doorman. My building does not have it, and it was not in my mailbox.
And you have a reputable building.
And my doorman says, it could be in any of the surrounding buildings. It happens all the time.
You bought her a jug of creamy sriracha dressing.
I did.
Was it peanut butter from Australia?
It was by the way, Justin's peanut butter. Do you know about Justin's? This is what Jamie eats. It's like gristly. It has that like...
They make also... peanut butter
almond
cups.
butter,
they make
peanut butter cups.
chocolate peanut butter.
It's at Whole Foods.
Oh, I know Justin's.
Justin's is like,
but they also make like dessert and candy peanut butter.
No
things.
pun intended. That's her jam. Hey now. Wait, what's your jelly preference? Like
I told you, jam. I like different jams.
Strawberry, blueberry.
I mix it up. I generally have 2 or 3 at any time.
Blueberry.
I have 2 or 3 at any time, so that way when I open the fridge, I make the decision then, like how to pair it. So I have crunchy peanut butter right now from some farmer's market in Westchester.
You're a jam sommelier.
And wait, I have maple peanut butter, which tastes like maple syrup peanut butter.
I can't even be around
and it's great.
Wow.
And I mix that with a strawberry right now.
Where are you really, on peanut butter on a burger? You know, like Whitman's?
I've had it. It's fine. It was something to try, but I don't think I would do it again.
It's a gimmick, right?
Yeah, it's a gimmick. It was nice.
So after the post office, just bed? You just go home and go to bed?
You're defeated, right?
Well, you know what? The walk home helps because I'm so annoyed. There's like steam coming out of my ears.
Does this count as your exercise for the day, by the way?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, yeah.
I'm carrying a box on the way back.
Sure,
like,
yeah. It's cardio and lifting, yeah.
So yeah, and then, by the time I got home, I had a couple more work emails to answer. Scott and I got on the phone and sort of, eventually we'll hit something where email is slowing us down and like, let's talk it out.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of an issue to untangle on this job we're going after. So we spent like an hour on the phone trying to talk it out and get to a place that we felt good about, that we could present it. It's kind of like the idea for this podcast. We had to get to a point where like, we sort of knew what it was, but we had to be able to say it to other people in a way that went down smooth.
Do you feel like in relationships now, like, because there are so many ways to communicate, like people don't get on the phone and that causes so many issues? Like if you would just get on the phone and be like, 8 o'clock, such and such restaurant, I'll be, or, hey, I have a work thing, as opposed to texting and the stuff gets lost in translation. Like I hear that a lot of times from people I work with of like, if we just got on the phone, none of this would have happened.
That's me who does that.
Meanwhile, I hate the phone and this happens to me.
You're
all the
like,
time.
Scott hates the phone too, and I'm always like, listen, we're at a point that we have to get on the phone. Like it's not, and it's fine. Like he and I will then talk it out. But yeah, there's definitely times where it's not, face to face for us is not all that useful, because when we're actually, like when I was in LA shooting and we had some time together, we would sit around and talk about football or talk about life things, or we don't get as much accomplished when we're together actually. So
it's probably more of a distraction, because face to face you want to talk about
friend stuff. Then you were talking about friend stuff,
well,
which
it's
were
important.
like
friends episode.
That's working on the relationship. That's work.
That's
like
when
you for building the friendship that's based on. You don't.
But like our friendship was,
the core.
we weren't like, we didn't pick each other out of a hat. Like we were friends first, so that's always there.
Yeah.
But it's nice. Like the phone call will generally like, we'll just launch right in. Like, all right, we have to untangle this. This isn't making any sense, because if we do this, then that's a repetitive beat, and then we have to. And I'm speaking very generally about all this. So
no problem.
We did that for a little bit. Then I met a friend of mine for dinner, who's also a writer. He writes in the TV, I guess I could say his name, Gene Stupinski, who's a TV writer. He was a writer on The Office and Hello Ladies.
You met at Peanut Butter and Company in the West Village.
In the Peanut Butter District.
Yeah, in the Peanut Butter
District. In the Peanut Butter District. We met at
PB&J's.
We met at Siggy's. Do you know Siggy's?
Yeah.
Which is like a fun, healthy-ish place to eat. And then after that, I went home and had another work call to do, a brief work call.
Well,
because that's one of my managers calls it the New York tax, which is getting to do an LA job, like being a screenwriter for movies in New York. The cost is a lot of phone calls at night, because if it's 8:30 here in New York, it's 5:30. Everyone's still in the office in LA. So I went back to my apartment for a couple of calls, and then I went to this new movie theater is opening on the Lower East Side called the Metrograph.
Really?
And it's
know about this.
really cool. It's they only have 2 screens, and it's gonna be sort of a real art house theater. So
like the one in Brooklyn where you can get like gastropubby food.
They're gonna have a little cafe, but it's not about that so much as it's about like
the movies they're showing.
Like real, a lot of independent films and foreign films, and then revival stuff. But it's like a beautiful theater. These like wooden chairs with these like nice cushions and 35mm prints of. I don't know if there's cup holders.
I gotta have a cup holder. I'm not gonna.
But it's like a real shrine for hardcore moviegoers.
Yeah,
like cool. Just the nerdiest. And they had a party.
Like competition for the Sunshine, like. That kind of,
a little
like the
bit,
Sunshine, or that one by
Angelica.
But the Sunshine doesn't do a lot. The Sunshine doesn't do a lot of like, for example, they have a 35mm print of Singing in the Rain, a 35mm print of Barry Lyndon, and like if you're a real movie nerd, it's like that's super exciting. Yeah. The Sunshine Landmark, which is a great theater, doesn't really do stuff like that. So I went to that opening party.
Solo?
I went solo because the invite actually said. You cannot bring a guest.
Yeah, but you knew people there.
Well, the list of like big directors that were going was like I was like, oh wow, like it's like all these names, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I bet I'll know someone there. And then I went there and didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
So then you get home like what time?
Well, no, I ended up but you do that thing where you don't know anyone, so you're like. I'm there. You're like, all right, I'm going to do a lap.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm going to do a lap in the other direction. And you're like, all right, I'm going to.
Right. And then I'm sure you stopped somewhere for dessert.
Then you go to the bar. And then, like, you do, after the bar, you're like, oh, I'm going to do another lap because I haven't done a lap in, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
I'm going to look at my phone for 20.
Yeah, then you, like, hover near the bar even though you have a drink already. And then, actually, I ran into one person I knew, Mike Birbiglia, which I was excited to see him. Yeah. Because I'm seeing his one-man show tonight.
I saw it.
I saw it, too.
I loved it.
Great.
Yeah, I'm seeing it tonight, but I was happy to run into Mike because there was one person I could say hi to that I generally was like, hey.
I'm so interested in seeing it again because he does so much stuff with the crowd.
Yeah.
And then is able to,
you want to
like,
see if it does it again.
Yeah, he's able to pull it back into his, places that he's going. But
I didn't know that. I know nothing other than I'm so excited to see it.
But the letter to David O. Russell story is just amazing.
I just have one more. We should wrap up.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up.
I had one more because of the nature of your day is so solo. You don't work in an office. You're on the phone. Obviously, you're emailing, but like, do you have to have some sort of event at night with other people so that you don't go crazy? Or like, are there days where you have like, you don't see anybody else that you know for the entire day?
There are probably days where I don't see anyone I know, although there's no days where I'm not on the phone. So at least I'm on the phone with people.
Contact.
But I like to use meals, especially dinner, as like my social time to be a part of the world and connect and see people and see friends. So dinner becomes very important that way. A lot of times dinner has to be at 9 o'clock because of work stuff and whatever. But
that's been a big part of our friendship of, hey, we'll get a good reservation somewhere and be like, let's see if Weber's around. And then, more times than not, you're like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love going out to eat. I cannot cook. I don't really know how. But I like using dinner for times to see friends, and I love eating out, and I love restaurants.
Because a lot of people, I think, a good amount of nights are like, oh, we'll just stay in and watch a movie, or we'll stay in and watch TV and order in. But if you're already at home all day,
then I try to I mean, I'll flip it the other way. Obviously, if there's a day where I'm out doing a lot of stuff and a lot of meetings and stuff like that, then dinner comes around. I want to order in Chinese food and watch the Sixers.
Or if there's like a Sixers game on, that
doesn't count. If there's a Sixers game on, I'm obviously
Sixers,
they're 8-40. What? 8
Yeah.
Oh, they're 8-50 now.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, I'm obviously going to revolve my day around catching
There was that stat about that somebody put out. You put it on the email of the Warriors have won 55 games in however many days, and the Sixers won 55 games in 1,000 plus days.
Yeah, they won 55 in 198. Yeah,
unbelievable.
We didn't even talk about. I mean, your journalistic. You're breaking stories about Philly sports things online with your tweets, but we'll save that for the next time.
Well, that didn't happen yesterday. That was a rare LA occurrence near a player's parent.
So you leave the event and then walk home.
I leave the event and there was
do you stop for dessert? Because Michael, he's not only a peanut butter and jelly aficionado, he's a huge dessert person.
Dessert is my thing. I wanted real food. I was still kind of hungry. I eat all day long. There was a new pizza place on Orchard I'd heard about that was like a throwback 1970s style. I don't know what that means. Pizzeria.
Art house pizza?
A lot of bush.
So I walked around the corner to pop in there, and it was like 10:45 at night. And the guy's like, oh, all we have left is sausage and something else. And it looked like it had been sitting out for hours. So I think it was sitting out since the 1970s. So I passed on that. And then I went to that Prince Street pizza place.
The best.
So good.
The best square in the city.
By then it was 11. They close at 11, which is weird. And I was so disappointed. So I went home and I had 2 more bowls of cereal.
See, you always have cereal.
So I had a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which is my cinnamon family cereal.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
And then
I
had
best leftover milk. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Well, Fruity Pebbles also very good. You could sell that milk as
very good.
Its own
and then I had a bowl of Cocoa Krispies.
Wow.
Also leaves good milk.
Good milk. And then that was my sort of cereal / dessert before going to bed.
Yeah.
So
that's a dessert cereal. Those are 2 dessert cereals for sure.
Mr. Crisp came over our apartment last night, so we had I'm
a Mr. Crisp fan.
Check out at Mr. underscore Crisp with a K. It's my soon-to-be sister-in-law's business. We're going to have her on the pod.
I was going to say, I don't want to steal her.
Yeah.
You have to,
but she brought us over. She's doing a photo shoot, so she brought us over like all these Rice Krispie treats.
You have to call me in that situation.
Insanity.
I think we can wrap things up.
I just a couple thank yous. Yeah. Obviously, this is our first episode. Big thanks to Showbiz Studios.
Yeah.
At Showbiz Studios on Twitter, right, Alex? Yes, at
producer Alex
Showbriz, B-R-I-Z, Showbriz Studios
First
on
episode
Twitter.
is already bored. Okay.
Thanks to Alex Brazel,
Right.
our producer, and big thanks to Adam Lance Garcia, who did our fun logo for us. He's an old colleague of mine, and super excited for him. And thanks to Genuine for our opening music.
Thanks to Genuine for the music, yeah.
And thanks to Matt.
We don't have his permission or anything,
no.
but yeah. And
nobody tell him that we're using it. But
I'm
thank
glad
you.
we're finally doing this.
We've been talking about this for like a year.
Regular thing. And thanks, Mike, our guest, Mike Weber.
Thank you guys.
What do you want?
Someone asked me to
check out his IMDb for everything.
Do you have anything seriously? Do you have anything you want to plug that's coming out or that you're?
We are in post production on The Disaster Artist, so I don't know. We do not have a release date yet, but I would guess either end of this year or early next year.
There's nothing else you've worked on that's coming out sooner. That's the next thing.
Not that has our name on it.
Okay, but Mike _Weber? No, what's your MH? What's your Twitter?
Twitter is @thisisweber.
@thisisweber. Yeah. So
Instagram too, right?
No, my Instagram is private. I actually wanted to have one thing that was private. It's fine. I just won't accept it. Strangers. I just want to have one thing just for my friends.
You deserve it.
Thanks.
Check him out on Twitter for movie insight and Philly sports.
And you can find me on Twitter @AngeGold, ANGEGOLD. I tweet a lot about wrestling, but if you get past that, I also tweet a lot of jokes and stuff like that.
I say you guys are two of the funniest people on Twitter. You crack me up every single day.
Thanks, man.
And really tremendous follows.
And Matt is @Matt Goldich.
Yeah, GOLDICH. All right, cool. This has been episode 1 of
Stay busy, guys.
Sorry, I've been so busy. Stay busy, everybody. Did you come up with that on the fly just now?
Yeah.
Wow, that was great.
Stay busy.
Guys, now I have a new thing. When I've been telling my friends I'm too busy, it's because I was doing this podcast.
There you go.
Hey.
Ooh, very meta.
Stay busy, everyone.
Stay busy.
Voicemail, 'cause I'm busy. Whenever I get with her, say I'm busy. And I'm gonna hit you later 'cause I'm busy. Busy with her.